What's up guys, Alan here, and today I'm gonna show the exact program I used to get that 200 kilo squat. I feel like this program is quite good for beginners and maybe very early intermediates, so let's get straight into it. So the first program I ran was a upper lower body split, so it's upper body, then lower body, then a rest day and so on. And my main focus in the beginning, and still is, was like to improve the squat, the bench and the pull-ups. So the program is mainly made around those three exercises, and but also like general strength. And so as we can see, the main exercises is squats, and here I like to do the 5x5s and an RPE, which means like how difficult it is, like a rate of perceived exertion is like an 8 RPE is you can maybe have done like 2 more reps when you're done, and 9.5 is you couldn't do more reps but you could maybe have done a little bit more weight. So I usually do the squats quite hard, so the first sets are not easy, but there's some reps left, and maybe on the last set there's no reps left. Maybe in the start, and you should maybe start a bit lower than you think and just try to progress quite fast in the start and see where you're at. So I would recommend to do them quite hard, but not till failure. And after I did squats, I usually did some sets of leg press, and here the reps could vary. I usually do the sets quite hard, so it doesn't really matter the rep range. If it's a good set, you have 0 to 3 reps left, then it's considered a quite good set. So I like to mix up the rep ranges even in the same day. That's how I do it. But if you want like a more strict program with set rep ranges and stuff, I can also make that. So leave it in the comments if you want that. And the third exercise was lying hamstring curls. Yeah, and these I usually took all the way to failure, pretty much every set. And these were like the 3 main exercises that I had to do every lower body day. And sometimes I did additional work. The balled out extra work is what I did most often, either like volume work for squats, just much easier weight, maybe 50 to 60% of your max, just do some reps, work on technique, and also like some calf work, because you don't get much calf work of the exercises I picked. So, and also did other exercises as you can see here. But it took the 5x5 for squats. I usually take at least 5-minute breaks between each set, so it takes a while anyway. So usually the 3 top exercises and maybe one of the balled out extra work exercises. So to the upper body day, I did start with bench, pretty similar to the squat. 5x5s, the same RPE. It's easier in the start and it gets quite hard at the end. And then I followed up by pull-ups. And if you can't do pull-ups, do lat pull-downs or assisted pull-ups. And I usually did those to failure or very close to failure every set. And I then did cable rows, because it's very good to have, since I squat high bar, it's very good to have like a strong upper back to make sure you're upright and tight. So therefore I focused on the upper back work. So yeah, I usually did cable rows, also them quite hard, but if you don't have straps, usually the grip will fail before your back. So, and I didn't have straps at that time. I used some chalk after a while, and that helps a lot, but it's usually the grip that goes before the back, so push them quite hard. And some extra work. Sometimes I changed out the pull-ups for weighted pull-ups, and I usually did 5x5s of weighted pull-ups instead of the normal pull-ups, and then maybe finished with a couple of sets of normal pull-ups. And if I had to pick like one extra exercise to train the shoulders a bit, the lateral raise is a very good exercise. So to run this program, you can either do as I did, like lower body, upper body, pause, 1 day off, and then lower body, upper body, pause, then lower body. And this program will be asynchronous, which means what you do on what day will change every week. So if you don't like that, or you don't have time, you could do lower body, then upper body, then pause, then lower body, then upper body, then 2 day pause. How to progress with this program? It's quite important, I think, to track your workouts, either just in your mind or try to remember at least somewhat what you did last session. You can also do notes, but it's not necessary. Start, I didn't do any notes, but I just remembered at least what I did on squats, pull-ups, bench, the main exercises, so I could progress them. So push for more every workout, try to add a bit more reps, add a bit more weight, and on the main exercises I would try to add 2.5 to 5 kilos every week, at least in the squat and bench. Maybe also less weight. It depends a bit how big you are, of course. If you're a smaller person or large person, they can usually progress in different rates. So if you find this to be too much, try to add 1 kilo if that's possible, and often test your limits, at least after, maybe not in the beginning like the first month, but after a while know where your limits are, so you can keep pushing them on. If you don't know where you fail, it's hard to push to 2 reps before failure, for example. And yeah, as I said, try to add more weight or squeeze in more reps on the accessory work as well. But if you progress on the main lifts, yeah, that's the most important part in my opinion. And some days will not go as planned, you'll maybe be weaker, it can be other factors, and just try to hit better numbers next time. And if you keep getting worse, you should maybe mix things up. I'll get back to that. Yeah, what to do if you hit a plateau. So if your training starts to get stagnant and you don't progress, here's some tips. Make sure that you get enough food, sleep and rest, of course. If you don't do those things, it's very hard to progress. Like, it doesn't really care what you do. And excess fatigue. Are you really sore, really drained, tired all the time? Then maybe the volume is too high. Try to take some extra rest, try to do a little less volume and check what happens. And yeah, if you don't feel like you're too drained, you just reached a plateau, then you can try to switch up the rep ranges. I did this. So if my 5x5 plateaued and I failed, like when I added 2.5 kilos 1 week, I switched to 3x3s or 5x3s, and I picked a weight and kind of knew I could do for 3 reps. So it's kind of deload in a way as well, because I picked a weight that I know I would be able to do. So it will be a couple of easy sessions, and then I try to add weight like 2.5 to the 3x3s as well, as I did with the 5x5s. And then I progress the new rep range for a week or up to a month. And then I get back to the 5x5s when I feel like it, or when I hit a plateau on this new rep range, and then I'm back to the 5x5s. And then I usually start with the weight I failed at, and that should then be good. If you then fail again, you should maybe think back to 0.1 if everything is in place, and then maybe switch up the exercises for some weeks, do another rep range, try some different stuff. So if you're a complete beginner, this is a quite high volume, I would say, for like a very fresh person. If you have trained a lot of sports before, I think it should be fine, or you've been active. But if you have been not that active, I would start much easier, and it's very helpful to have a friend or someone you know to train with that can teach you technique, and could even get a coach and watch tips on YouTube. And I would run like up to a month of just going to the gym and trying stuff. You don't really need a program at that stage. Just do what you feel like. I would say far away from failure as well. Just try to get the technique down, and when you feel you got the technique quite good, then you can start on the program here, or start with a full body program and do that for some months, and then switch to the program I've mentioned here. There are 4 very important factors for gains. You need to sleep. Sleep as much as you can, maybe. It's maybe the best thing you can do for performance is sleeping. So try to don't skim on that. And eat, at least for me, I kind of need to force myself to eat, at least if it's fresh, good food. I can probably do a lot of junk food, but if it's fresh, healthy food, it's quite hard for me to eat enough. So I kind of just eat as much as I can. It's very also hard to train hard. That means the sets should be fairly hard. 0 to 3 reps from failure, at least if the goal is muscle. And in the start, it's not that important that you train that hard, you will get great gains. But after a while, you need to push it harder, and be consistent. Like if you're sick or something happens, of course you have to take a break, but get back there as fast as you can again. And also stress is also, try to manage stress the best you can, and this will also give you better recovery and improve your sleep as well. So that's some tips. So if you're following these tips and this program, I think you will get great gains very fast. I did this for 3 months, and I gained most of my gains got really good, and it was really fast. And the full program is in the description below, and if you have any specific questions, just ask me in the comments. And also next week I'm doing this fun challenge, and it'll test my strength and endurance, so I will probably post this here, so keep out for that. And have a great day or night. I'll catch you in the next one.